Now we're going to be looking at inequalities with fractions. So remember when we did our basic equations, we also had fractions. Now here I also want you to think the same way as we did then. With question 39, now remember when we did our equations, I told you to first identify the denominators so I can kind of eliminate them away. So see how the denominators are 5 and 4. To eliminate those fractions, because I really don't like working with fractions, they always confuse me. So I'm going to find my lowest common multiple of 5 and 4. Remember that? So what's the lowest common multiple of 5 and 4, guys? Should be 20, right? So I'm going to multiply everything by 20. So multiply x over 5 by 20, 4 by 20, this fraction by 20, and 6 by 20 as well. Everything on both sides of the inequality. And you can see here, what's 20 divided by 5? That's 1, and that's a 4, isn't it? And that one's easy. 20 divided by 4, that's a 1, and that's a 5. So we'll simplify it. Now we just have 4x. 20 times 4 is 80. 5 times 3x is 15x, minus 20 times 6, which is 120. Gather your like terms. So I'm going to move 15x over to here, so I have the x's on my left, and move the 80 here and make it positive 80. 4x minus 15x is negative 11x, and that should be negative 40. Now guys, I don't want to have negatives on both sides. If it was just an equation, if with an equal sign, you can just get rid of the negatives. But because this is an inequality, what do? We switch the sign over and make them positive. So basically I'm multiplying both sides by negative 1, so that becomes positive 11 and that becomes positive 40, but we switch the sign because we multiplied by a negative number. And then of course we need x, so divide by 11. So x is less than 40 over 11. You just leave it like that as a fraction. Okay, so 40 we have 5, 6, and 3. So what's the lowest common multiple here? I think it's going to be 30. So I'm going to multiply this by 30, this by 30, and that by 30 as well. And you can second simplify. So 30 divided by 5 is 6, 30 divided by 6 is 5, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So I have 6 times x minus 1, plus 5 times 2x minus 3, and 10 times 2, which is 20. Now we got rid of all the fractions, which is excellent. All we need to do is simplify by first expanding out the grouping symbols. Expand it, 6x minus 6, 10x minus 15, and then you gather the like terms. So I'll leave 6x plus 10x over here, which is going to be 16x. And you can see that negative 6 minus 15 is negative 21. If you move it over and make it positive 21, it's going to be 41 on your right-hand side. Just simply divide by 16, and therefore x is greater or equal to 41 over 16. Just leave it as a fraction, guys, and that's the answer. 41, okay, what's the denominator? 2 and 3. So what's the lowest common multiple? Easy, it's going to be 6. So multiply everything by 6, and you can see that becomes a 3, that becomes a 2. So we have 3 times x plus 1, negative 2 times 2x minus 2, and this side is just 6. Expand it all out. So we have 3x plus 3, negative 4x plus 4, because negative makes a positive, right? And then 6. So gather your like terms. So all the x's over here, all the constants over to the right. Don't forget your switching of the signs. And 3x minus 4x is negative x. 6 minus 3 minus 4 is negative 1. How do we get rid of the negatives? Multiply both sides by negative 1 and remember to reverse the sign. So now it's all positive with the sign switched over the other direction. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, we've got 3 and 2 again. So we just need to multiply everything by 6. 2, 3. So we have 2 times x minus 1, 3 times x plus 1, and then 6 times 2 is 12. Expand it all out, so we have 2x minus 2, 3x plus 3, plus 12. Okay, gather your like terms. I'm going to move the 3x over to here, and the negative 2 over to here to make plus 2. 2x minus 3x is negative x, and this equates to 17. Now I don't want negative x, I just want x, so multiply both sides by negative 1, or you can think of it as bringing the negative over to this side, but remember to switch the sign. So x is less than negative 17. Now 43, the denominators are 4, 3, and 2. What's the lowest common multiple? It's going to be 12. So multiply everything by 12. So here we're going to have 3, here we're going to have 4, and here we're going to have 6. So we have 3x minus 4 times x plus 3, and 12. 12 times 1 is 12, and then 6 times x plus 1. I want you to keep it as brackets first. Some people tend to do it all in their heads, do it all in one line. Don't do that, guys. I really, really don't want you to do that. I want you to keep it brackets first, and then on the next step, expand it out. That will reduce your silly mistakes a lot. 3x minus 4x minus 4 times 3 is negative 12. 12 plus 6x plus 6. Now move all your x's on your left-hand side and your constants on your right. So 3 minus 4 minus 6 is negative 7x, and this side should be 30. So you guys can do all the calculations, right? I don't want the negative, so move the negative over and switch the sign and divide by 7. So x is less than negative 30 over 7, and you can just leave it like that. Maybe you guys can try this question on your own and check your answers. We have denominators of 2, 2, and 3. So basically just 2 and 3, isn't it? So the lowest common multiple is 6 again. So I'm going to multiply everything by 6. So this becomes 2, 3, and 3. So we have 2 times x minus 1, 3 times 5 plus 2x, and 3 times 1 is 3. Expand it out. Okay, so 2x minus 2, negative 15. Negative positive makes negative, so negative 6x. Gather your like terms. So you can see that 2x minus 6x is negative 4x. And I'll move the negative 2 minus 15 over to the other side, which is positive 17, isn't it? So that's negative 17. So move it over to make positive 17, which will be 20 added with 3. And then move the negative over. So you divide both sides by negative 4. So 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. But because we're dividing by a negative, we switch or reverse the sign over. So this is your final answer. Okay, so the key things here was to multiply out everything by the lowest common multiple, and at the end, watch out for where you switch the sign. Okay, when you're dividing or multiplying by a negative, always reverse the sign. Okay, and that's the end of this part.